What's up, y'all? This is a quick message, and I wanted to say this. This is very much so showing me the fruits of my Father. It's showing how God will show up in a way that will allow you to notice how much more you are relating to Him. And so many details when you have a relationship with the Lord and you're building that relationship up with Abba through the simplicity of just being obedient of how He stretches you and how He calls you. And when you read your word and you hear the scenario of what's going on through the disciples and their walk and their journey of what He's saying, you'll start to see how many times you have spoke the same message, rather it's to people, rather it's to a situation, rather it's to certain details of your life changing, rather it's to respond in a way where you're not wasting your time, where you're not oversharing, where you're not overpouring yourself. And so I start to, it started to ignite the portion of me that realized that, Lord, we are much more in your image and likeness than we're able to see when we are, living for our flesh. When you're not living for your flesh, you're able to see more of the identity that God actually created and molded you to be that reflects Him. And so I think that's amazing that in the times of need, when there are situations that can occur and you may be blessed to have a big family or blessed to have leadership over a situation, and the Israelites, they started to complain to Moses about the food and the places of what they used to be able to do and the situations that used to occur and how they used to have it. And so I started to look into that, and I was talking to Abba, and he was letting me know how things was happening in such a way where Moses became, my God, in a way, how can I say this, Lord? Help me say this in Jesus' mighty name. Well, they attacked Moses beyond what they lack was. Because they seen it through the ability of lack, they began to attack Moses with their words, okay? They became murmuring and complaining about the things that they wasn't able to physically see. But see, they wasn't taking the incline which they needed to. And that's why God tells us to take faith over a matter, take increase over a matter, take the situation higher, ask God. But I was like, Lord, I noticed that the Israelites began to complain and look at this perspective from what they had, all from where they came from, where God delivered them from. And they was looking from a place of lack in that matter. And so when they did it from that standpoint, I was like, Lord, couldn't they just have asked you, Lord? It's better to just ask Abba for the things that you're desiring in your heart instead of letting that thing build up in a way where the ideology now becomes mixed by the frustration or the emotion. When you give the burden over to Jesus, when you give the frustration over to Jesus, when you give everything that you're sitting in defeat about over to Jesus, then no longer will the enemy be able to target you about what God has blessed you with. And so that's what I come to tell you, is that there are certain things in your life that is changing, and God has a plan for you the way that He's doing it in the simplicity of your obedience. You may not see the full entirety of a matter, but when God opened up, my God, the Red Sea and told the Israelites to go through, baby, Pharaoh, he didn't want to let them go, but he soon came to know that what God told Moses from the get-go was going to happen. Baby, he had to let them go, even if it was going to take him going through the water and it closing up on them. Okay, and so there were certain things that God is like, do not wrestle with doubt about a matter. Don't even go towards the situation that your enemies are trying to pull you into. Go ahead and pray for them. Go ahead and look forward and don't look back. Go ahead and take it to God. Go ahead and ask the Lord to help you in the matter. When people are teasing you or mocking you or making you seem less than who you are, belittling you, God is saying, I'm right there in the midst of thee. And so when you don't take a low route to get to where you're trying to go, or you don't try to take the route to prove to the situation or your emotions of somebody else's eyes needing to validate who you are, baby, that purpose that God has in you becomes, my God, pure before the Lord. And so when it's pure before the Lord, we know when Hannah had the very same situation, baby, she routed in the incline, and when she did, she was blessed abundantly. She was blessed so much over that she was able to even boast in the Lord and tell